Do you have a wild side?
Of course I have a wild
Yeah.
side. I like sci-fi books.
Yeah.
No.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Get Up. Today we're talking the Ultimatum. We loved Love is Blind so much, now we're back with this new show.
Yeah, it's first season here, man, and I tell you what, this show's freaking nuts, dude.
It's crazy.
Whoever came up with this idea, man, just was like,
It's crazy.
Crazy, man.
You know what?
Freaking
And I
nuts.
thought this was going to be trashy.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like
Oh,
some
yeah.
Love
Oh,
Island
what's-
business.
Hold on,
What's
man.
going on
I
over
gotta
here?
get my hard pour going here.
I thought it was going to be some Love Island people just
Yeah.
hooking up, but it's a little bit more deeper than that.
Yeah, it's very deep. Like I don't know. I enjoyed it. I was surprised how much I enjoyed it.
Better than I thought it was going to
Yeah,
be.
for sure.
So,
Yeah, no, it was, but at the same time, like all these people are still freaking nuts, man. Every single one of them.
I
dude.
just
Oh,
wonder
obviously.
if Netflix feels bad because they're putting these couples in these awkward
Look at that head.
situations, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You get that on the table, Billy, and you was in trouble.
Beautiful.
They essentially create drama here and then get them all drunk, and you know,
Oh, yeah.
you know something's
dude.
gonna happen.
Love is blind the same way.
You
Love
know,
is blind. they had alcohol
you
all the
know
time.
from Love is Blind, alcohol, never a good
Oh,
mix
yeah.
with this.
No, and one thing, except now they have, like Josh commented when we talked about this in Love is Blind, they moved to silver glasses now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nice to gold glasses.
Change it up a
There
little
you
bit.
go.
Yeah.
It it does have the Love Is Blind feel, especially
It does.
after the pod
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, I thought it was kind of odd too when the couples start like kind of just meeting each other and like, you know, mingling with each other and dating.
in front of each other.
It's in front of each other. It's not like I thought it would be more of like a speed dating kind of scenario
Mhm.
where you kind of like
I did think
You know,
they'd go
go
on
through?
individual dates, and
Yeah.
they act like, when I dated this, I'm like, you didn't date
Yeah,
them, you
but
were just
yeah.
in a big area
Yeah, you
together.
just
At
talk
least
to
from
them
what
in
they
front of your-
showed.
in front of
Yeah.
your other.
but they're right there, like so you can literally be a booth over or you
Yeah.
know across the pool from your partner dating somebody else.
And you're
it's
like,
that's kinda
hearing their
odd.
conversation and their
Yeah.
laughter and all, and they even mentioned that several times. Like, what the hell is he laughing at over
Right.
there? You know?
So
Why
let's
do you
get
think
to
that's
these
funny?
couples, though.
Yeah.
They have Lauren and Nate, and all these couples have been dating anywhere from like a year and a half to 2.5 years, it seems like.
pretty much, yeah.
And these guys are like, for the most part, they seem like they're in their mid-20s.
Yeah, everybody's in their mid 20s, except Nate. Nate's 30, and he's the oldest person on here, right? None of them have ever been married before. None of them have kids. So this is all their first go around in marriage, and yeah, I mean, it was very much a typecast kind of crowd on this show. Most of them are relatively attractive. So when they cast this show, they were going for a specific type of person. Period. There's no.
Well, and I think the reason for that is to make sure. I mean, the whole idea is you have these 6 people who are in love. They are together. It's not like they want to break up. Just one wants to take it to the next level and the other one doesn't,
Right.
or is reluctant in some way. So they are legit couples, but they also want to present them with this opportunity to explore what life could be like with somebody else to maybe figure out if that's why you're not ready to make that commitment or what that is. So and reasonably, you're not going to find somebody, who's 25 and then try to go with somebody who's 45. Like reasonably, they're trying to keep them around the same age, same kind of like.
Well, but on
type
Love is
of
Blind,
person.
you have people in their 30s who are dating people in the 20s.
A little
and
bit
stuff
bigger
like
of a
that.
spread.
A little bit bigger of a spread in Love is Blind.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the
Yeah.
point of that one, right? Because
Right.
it's not like
Yeah.
superficial, or at least it's supposed to be.
Right.
But
This is totally super.
And this is just to see if there is another person that you would consider. So I don't know. I can see why they would do that.
well, then we get to the crux of the issue with this show is like, if you're willing to explore this, your relationship probably isn't the greatest to begin with.
Especially if you're willing to let your freaking significant other live with somebody else for 3 weeks and potentially have sex with them, right? Like at that point, it's
Yeah.
like, I probably shouldn't be with this person. I
and
want to
they
let them do that.
they don't really clarify that. I guess they individually have those conversations ahead of time. Oh my god.
Yeah, get that pour going,
Another
Josh.
one.
That's right.
Just got a regular old Coke here.
Mhm,
I'm
yeah,
not
just
really
a little
even in the
hit there. Look
Pepsi
at that.
game here.
Yeah.
I guess they leave that up to the couples to decide what they agree or don't agree to do with each other.
Yeah.
So when they do end up, exploring relationship opportunities with another person, like, are they going to cross that line? Because
Right.
when you do, like, I kind of understand the whole premise is you live as a married couple with this other person for 3 weeks to see, okay, does absence make the heart grow fonder?
Right.
Or
hey, am I digging this person? And
right, exactly. But if you do cross that physical line and, sexual or anything, it's like, how do you go back to your person
yeah,
and be like,
yeah, right.
well, you made me on the show. Like that. I mean, that's okay. That doesn't really count, right?
Right.
Like, I mean, it
That was
kind
a
of
freebie.
does.
That was my hall pass. That was hall pass.
Yeah,
Every each other hall passes, right? So
I don't know how you get past that.
yeah, oh yeah.
So, you know, I guess
we're going to see some of that here in a little bit when we talk about it. But it's
you
just
know,
crazy
and I guess they just leave it up to the couples individually to decide,
how
you
far
know,
they want to go.
are you going to respect, you know, I'm going to live with this person as a married couple, but minus the physical.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
Well, let's get into these couples.
Yeah.
First up, we got Lauren and Nate. And Nate initiated this,
Mm-hmm.
and it's because he wants kids, but Lauren doesn't really want them.
Yeah. She 75% does not like kids. That's what she
Yeah,
said.
well,
She's kind of scared of the whole pregnancy thing, and she just isn't sure if she wants kids.
She's
Well-
awkward around kids. She doesn't see herself as a mom.
Well, and her whole issue is I think, you know, and we kind of see this later in the show. Her whole issue is the fact that Nate pushes it so hard, and he's not willing to talk about it with her. Right? He doesn't have the conversations with her and the caringness about it. He just flat out saying, "Hey, we're freaking having kids," you know. So he doesn't give her the opportunity to really express her feelings. That's how she feels anyway, right? That's what she says. She feels that he doesn't give her the opportunity to express her feelings about the whole situation. So that's what she's like, no, I'm not going to have kids because this guy won't even let me freaking talk about it. So
Right.
Mm-hmm. And then we got Ray and Zay, with Ray initiated. She's the female.
Rachel,
here.
yeah.
Ray and Zay. I like those names go together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I kind of have I don't see them together. Like it's hard. You know, throughout this entire series, I just like any interactions they have with them. I don't know. He perplexes me a lot. I'm not really sure what to ever think of him, but his big complaint, or I guess reason as to why he doesn't want to get married, is that he can never really get her to express to him how she feels. And when he straight up asks her, she's like, yeah,
I love you.
I love you. Like, but why do you love
You're
him?
cool.
And then even production asks her at some point, why do you love him? Can you skip to the next question?
Well,
Right.
she's
Right,
very
right.
high on herself. She claims that she's the total package. She can cook. She's educated, and she knows how to get freaky in the
Yeah,
bed.
that's right.
Yeah.
And she doesn't use those words,
No,
but
she used some much more expressive words than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she said, I know how to have some sex, and he likes it, so I'm gold. Ain't no girl
Yeah.
going to give him what I can give
so
him.
I thought that was kind of
Mhm.
like off-putting to me at first because,
Mhm.
like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, no, she's not.
and I got the impression from him that like he would literally or legitimately consider marrying her. He doesn't really know where she stands,
Right, yeah,
other
exactly.
than
Yeah.
her saying, "Hey, I want you to marry me." But like, okay, but
Why?
why?
Yeah,
Like,
and as you said, they're just like, why are you with this dude? And she can't answer
Yeah,
it.
she
And it's
can't.
like, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, that whole relationship perplexes me.
Now, for her standpoint, you know, one of her issues with him is, you know, I mean, he's a what does he do? What does he do? That's what I'm looking for here. Promoter. He's a promoter for maybe nightclubs or something. Doesn't say what. So he's got a lot of social media presence. He's got chicks hanging all over him on social media, and he doesn't have her on any of his social media because obviously that would interfere with his job and maybe not make him a good promoter as far as, you know, bringing the chicks into the clubs or whatever. So she has an issue with that as well, right?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, rightfully so, I guess. You know, at that point, if you're with somebody for 2 years and you ain't putting them on your social media, but you're telling them you love them, want to marry, you know, and you're thinking about marrying them, that's kind of probably an issue. So
Yeah.
We also have Shanique and Randall.
I also don't understand this relationship.
yeah, I
either.
don't know.
Yeah, at first I thought,
They don't say too much, like, when they're showing them both as a couple, but, like, Shanique seems pretty worried about Randall, though, in
Yeah.
this experiment.
yeah, but Shanique brought him
Yeah,
here.
right. And she
you
even
know?
says that several times. You know, I think I
But
made a
she was
mistake.
probably there was two girls I would say that were the most concerned of who was mingling with their man and
Mhm.
how this experiment would play out that way. And she was one of them. She was
Well, that's because she has
definitely-
another girl who we're about to mention him out, who's just blatantly, flat out saying, "Yep, I like this dude, and I want this dude."
Even
and,
before
and it was
that,
her
though,
man, you know?
even before that, she was just very concerned. But
Mm-hmm.
she comes across very put together, very,
Very
professional,
business-like
Yeah.
and stuff. So.
very calm and
She
rational.
could be immature, though,
Oh, yeah.
given the
And so
opportunity.
does
she's
Randall,
got that kind
but-
of Tyra Banks looking to her too. You know, look to her.
Oh, she's
You know,
gorgeous.
She's very good
She's
looking woman.
gorgeous.
Yeah, oh,
But you do see throughout the episodes, I'm like, wow, she does not know how to communicate or like.
well, she's childish, very childish.
She's
in a lot of
very
these cases.
childish, and it surprised me because I just didn't see that coming from her. When
Yeah.
when it comes to a disagreement or an argument, like you can't win because she won't even listen to you.
No, no.
Yeah, when she's emotional charged,
Oh,
it's,
yeah, that's
it's
it. It's
game
there-
over.
there's no
Yeah.
sense. You
Yeah.
just can't talk to her. Yeah. And, you know, and
Exactly.
Randall said that several times. So then you really start to see his side of things. Like,
Yeah.
oh crap, you know, I see where this guy's coming from because you can't talk to this woman when she's upset. You know, you just
Right.
can't because she's childish about it and you know blames everything on you. Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
he's
you
the
know.
exact opposite.
Right.
Like you
Yeah,
even
he's
see
very
that
la-
later
yeah.
on that he will and he doesn't want to walk away from an argument, or he wants to like, let's talk this out. And he never raises his voice. He keeps calm.
And he asked her, he's like, look, will you please sit here and talk to me? You know, he's not, I mean, he's very calm and collected about it, and she ain't.
All right, then we got April and Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah, April and Jake, man.
April and Jake.
And Jake is a former Marine,
just got
5 years.
Just got a Marine Corps less than a year ago, he said.
So at first, I really like you can see when they first start talking the night before they separate to go start dating other people, or however you want to word it. I genuinely thought, okay, these people are going to end up back together. Like these,
right.
I mean, it's weird. Jake's talking about like, I bought you a car, I do all this. So they seem pretty involved at this point,
right? Like, but she is so desperate to be a mom, so desperate to be a mom and like start that family and have the kids, and he's, you know, what seems to be the theme of these men saying that they don't want to start this marriage is they want to wait till they're financially stable, and that seems to be their excuse to going into it, and that's one of his. And
yeah, man, and they're both. I mean, I think she's 24 and he's 25 or 26. Right. They're still relatively young, you know, and so that's kind of the issue that, you know, I can totally see from the guys' perspectives, you know, or even the women at this point. Like, look, we're still young, man. Like we're still in our early mid-20s, you know. It's like why do we need to have kids right now? Why can't we wait till we're in our, you know, late 20s, early 30s before we start having kids, you know? So.
You can tell though, she's
ready.
She says she was born to be a mom. And you can even tell, and you can even tell based on the way she interacts with everybody throughout the series that she tries to parent them. She's very much a parental type. She's also very immature as well and has her own issues, but
she's attention seeking sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, totally attention seeking.
And very emotional and very, you know, but I like her, but there is something a little odd and off. I think.
I like April and I like Jake. I like them both.
I like Jake a lot too.
I think they're both cool. I just you know, I'm with you. I mean April does. She says a lot of good stuff in this first couple episodes, you know, especially towards the end when it comes to, okay, we're going to decide who we're going to date. Yeah. And she brings up a ton of good points.
Right.
And I appreciated that. I was like, hey, this chick knows what this show is about. You know, she flat out tells you what this show is about, and which is what it was about. And some of those other people are just not playing it right now.
Now, we'll get into that. But Alexis and Hunter, they're on this one.
We're moving on.
Yeah, we're moving on. We can't spend all day talking about each character.
They're not characters. They're real people.
These are real people, Josh.
They seem kind of fake to me.
Alexis looks fake, man. Alexis looks like her whole face is plastic. And maybe it ain't, my gosh. But she looks like she got the Botox in her lips. So like maybe she had a nose job done, and her face is like really flat there. So,
I'm perplexed by a lot of these relationships. The initial relationships. I'm like, who shipped these people together? Like, I don't understand.
Well, it's kind of funny because Hunter starts off early on. He's like, I think I'm ready to make a decision. And she's like, no, you're not. Or else, you know, you wouldn't be here if that was the case. Right. And he's like, fair enough.
All right. She said I'm not, so I'm not.
And he's kind of like a boring kind of guy for this. I think some girl even asked, like, tell me something exciting. He's like, I'm into sci-fi books or something like that.
I think it was April that asked him that or something. He's like, yeah, I like sci-fi books.
She's like, hard pass.
Really exciting, yeah.
But I don't
read a sci-fi book.
Oh, wow.
I don't see them together. She claims and she states it that she does not want to be the breadwinner. She wants a sugar daddy.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's very obvious.
Yeah, she's money.
And she states that she makes more money than him. And that's a problem for her. Yep. Because she wants him to be able to take care of her. And so
I think she thinks highly of herself, and she's about to find out real quick that she's a little off base.
She is very, very vain. Yeah, thinks very highly of herself. Thinks that she's like the hottest thing on the planet. And yeah, like you said, she can find out her pretty quick.
But he is very calm, cool, and collected. And I just don't see him tolerating that in a relationship, but he does.
And like I said, like, you know, all these people are in there. And she's 25, you know, but she looks by far like the oldest person on the show. I mean, she looks like she's damn near, 40 in my opinion. You know, she looks pretty old.
What's wrong with 40?
So.
I don't think she looks like she's in her 40s, and I think Billy is going a little too hard on her looks and everything, and she looks fine and everything.
I think she looks old, man. Compared to all these other people, I think she looks old.
He can't read the room. He can't read the room.
Yeah. But that's all right.
He's trying to calm you down, Billy, and like get you off of it.
But our last couple is Madeline and Colby, and this is kind of like one of the more drama-filled.
This is a very toxic relationship.
Oh yeah.
That the more layers you unpeel, the worse it is.
Early on, I'm like, he's cool, she's not. It's kind of the sense I got early on.
But later on, you kind of start feeling different. We'll get to that, later. But,
and she says the only thing scarier than losing him is marrying him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She makes that comment.
That's pretty strong.
And I'm like, what?
Yep, exactly.
Like, why are you like
Yeah,
at this
like-
point? Why are you on the show? If that's the
Why are
scary-
you with this
Oh, yeah.
dude?
Yeah,
right now?
Well,
like
but-
why are you?
But
yeah.
she kind of clarifies, meaning marrying anybody right now, right?
I don't think
a
she
little bit.
does. No.
I think she kind of meant
I don't
it that
remember
way.
that,
I think she kind of meant it that way. Like, she's just scared to get married, period, right now, because she wants to make darn sure that whoever she marries is the right person. So even, I don't know, man. But
All of these couples,
she's
even
sketchy.
the ones who give the ultimatum and the ones who are on the other end of the ultimatum, even the ones who were given the ultimatum, they seem very reluctant to like open themselves up to somebody else and afraid that they're going to hurt their current partner. She does not.
No, well, let's be clear.
Does
Let's be clear.
not.
Colby gave her the ultimatum.
Yes, she's
so-
like, let's do this.
Yeah,
Give
she's
me
all about it.
someone
Yeah.
else.
Yeah, she's all about it.
Colby and Nate, I think they're the two guys who
Yeah,
did
they
the ultimatum,
initiated
and then the
there.
rest were women.
Yeah, exactly.
But Colby, on the other hand, you get the impression from him that based on, when they first start the dates that he's not going to pick anybody else. He's like, no,
He seems like he's in it for the experience.
Yeah.
And to like get something out of it.
He's like, I already know who I want to marry. It's that one right there.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's who he brought to the
And
show.
that's not going to change. Is what he's
Yeah.
saying.
And
then we get into like the dating phase where they seem
dating.
like they're on a rooftop with a pool or something like that, and like the girls are wearing like skimpy like bathing suits and
I guess
it's
full
not very
coverage.
organized.
Full coverage of the bottom is out.
Especially
Apparently.
Lauren's just had that tea bag, man. You see everything on hers.
I'm like, okay, like let's cover that up, shall we? But no, and the cameras love to zoom in
yes,
on the
they do.
crotch shots and the
Yeah,
butt
they do.
shots.
Yeah, at
I've
one
said that
point,
several
I think
times.
it was the second episode. They just zoom in on Jake's crotch, and you're kind of like, "What are you
What are you
doing?"
doing?
Like hoping to see movement or something.
Dude, they did
I'm
the
like,
same thing to Ray one time. Ray's sitting there with a skirt, and they like zoomed in on like her skirt, and she's sitting there between her legs, and I'm like, what is
Yeah.
this cameraman
I mean,
doing?
it was like
Yeah.
it wasn't even like a zoom. Like like
They're
maybe they're
like,
trying
"We're
to find
just
a different
gonna
shot.
stare."
They're like
right.
enhance.
Zoom in.
It's
yeah,
like
that's
weird.
a little much, Netflix, a little much.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of surprised at just how disorganized this show kind of
Oh,
is.
yeah,
though.
Yeah.
Like I really thought they would have something going on. Like, okay, now you're going to spend time with this person, and we'll rotate or something.
Yeah, like
kind
a
of play
speed
in a
dating,
strategy.
like a
Yeah.
speed
And maybe they
dating
did,
situation.
but they didn't like
They don't.
show it.
I mean, and
No.
I think that's probably how they did it on some level. They probably said, okay, you need to go spend 5, 10, I don't know, a certain amount of time with this person, spend a certain amount of time with this
and
person.
then, they
But
had
they
to
were
go-
all
did it
still
all-
together.
they were
Though.
all still in
Yeah.
the same area.
Never were they
You know?
in
You
like a
can
private
see-
area or
Right.
on a private date.
No.
Well, and then you could tell, just to cause drama. Then they had the guys meeting and girls meeting, where the guys got to talk about, hey, who's kind of who you thinking
This
about?
was
Like, oh, I'm thinking about-
awkward.
Like now
Yeah,
you're
and
supposed
the
to
girls-
discuss this with
Right,
like
with
I'm about to talk about your
your
girl, so
right,
listen
yeah.
up.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's I think the only reason they would have done that is just to create drama for this show, right? Because that has nothing to do with the purpose of the show, right? The purpose of the show ain't to freaking people to commingle and then talk about who they're commingling with the freaking guys that they're or girls,
Well, I do think there is another layer to that. And I think it's a matter of, because you see a lot of it too, there's a lot of advice given back and forth. Because you got to remember, whereas one person's dating, like if I'm dating your person and you're dating my person, I'm still into my person. Like I didn't break up with them years ago. Like 5
I don't
minutes
know
ago, I
because
was
they
ready
do
to
have to
marry
pick
this person.
someone, so they really need to like get to the nitty gritty and like I don't
get
want to be
that.
left out, so I need to find someone to pick.
But
Right,
I get
right, yeah.
that. But they're sitting there trying to also, they kind of like when they have the girls meeting and the guys meeting, they also kind of have like this advice moment of like, well, I think your person's just kind of looking from this for you. And I think I can give that. You know,
Yeah.
it's like,
These guys and girls are like intermingling, and they don't realize like. You know, some of the girls are like, this was my problem with this dude. And like that guy she's talking to has the same issue going
Right.
on. Like he didn't initiate it either for the most part. So
Right.
he's like, yeah, I don't
I'm
wanna
ready
get
to
married
start it.
either. You know what I mean?
I'm ready to get married and start a
Yeah, and
family.
have a family. And he's like, they're like, oh,
man,
well,
that's why I'm here is I'm
Yeah.
not.
Right, I'm not.
that's what got me here to begin with.
Exactly. or maybe I am ready, but just not in the time frame they want to be ready in because they're being too
Right.
pushy, you know. So
Well, and that's where
Yeah.
that comes into with the dating is that they talk about
Mhm.
and who was it that gets into that? Colby and
Well,
Lauren kind of get into that.
yeah.
Yeah.
About
Col-
the
and
Well,
discussion.
Colby's able to convince Lauren, like, maybe I could have kids. And I'm like, well, that didn't
Yeah.
take very long.
Right.
and that's because she even says that he let me explain why I didn't want kids,
Right.
like why I'm scared, and then he gave me that confidence, saying, oh, he would be here to help me with it, and he explained.
Yeah, but
how.
this is not a person that's
so-
invested in you. What do they care? They don't care about
Right.
you. They're like, I don't
Yeah.
care what you say. I'll listen and I'll pretend I'm into
exactly,
you.
and that's the whole point that I was just making about them being
He
a different
doesn't have
person
to
with
have
you.
kids
Yeah,
with
like,
her.
oh, yeah, I'm gonna seem like like I'm the perfect guy. What
Yep,
when you're on a
exactly.
date, you're on like your best behavior, and you're not
Which is the whole point I was
showing
making a
the
minute ago.
people like
Yep.
your
True
worst
you.
side.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
they're not seeing the bad part of you.
Well, that's
yeah.
why you get to live with them for 3 weeks.
Yeah, except
Some people are more upfront though. Alexis
Yeah.
is like, I care about my guy
Money.
making money and
I care
stuff
about
like
money.
that, and then Colby's like, red flag, red flag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man, Colby was
And she goes after Colby pretty early and
Oh,
tries
yeah.
to make that connection, but Colby really
He ain't
ain't
having
having it.
Well, and then she asked him, "Well, be honest with me. Then, what's wrong with me? Why don't you like me?" He's like, "Well, I'm just not attracted to you." You know, and he
Colby
wasn't,
drops
he
the hammer.
hesitated. Well,
and
first
he
of
wasn't
all,
a jerk about it. Yeah, he hesitated first.
no,
like,
that was not even the first conversation. The first
No.
conversation, she says, "Well, I could see. Can you see yourself living with me for 3
Right.
weeks? Can you see yourself choosing me?" And he said, "No."
I think he says that to April.
he said it's April too. Yeah,
he
but-
did
but
say it to
also
April, but he also told her no
heard that, yeah.
one night, and
Yeah.
I
then
mean,
and
Colby
without
ain't messing
really much,
around. He's
yeah.
like, I'll let
just
you
no.
know where we stand. I'll let you know
yeah.
where we stand.
He doesn't like sugarcoat it, but he's not rude. He wasn't
No.
rude or abrupt about it. And then she came to him the next day
Alexis, yeah.
and said, you know, when you said that, you know, what is it? Why can't you see? You know, I was immediately drawn to you. Your fierce eyes. You're attractive. You know, like what is it that? And he's like hesitant. He's like, man, he didn't want to say
Yeah,
it.
he did say
Well, and
initially
he
he
said we've
didn't
already
see
had
herself
this.
with her, and then he's like,
Yeah.
I just don't find you attractive.
Yeah. Well, he told her, he said, we've already had this conversation. And she said, no, we haven't. You know,
Yeah,
why? And
yeah.
he's like, oh, and
You
he's
can
like,
just
okay,
see
fine.
he's kind of annoyed. Like, I don't want to spend any more time with you
Right.
because I'm not
This
going
is
to choose you.
wasting
So
time.
this is I
Yeah,
need to like commingle with other people.
And
that-
And he didn't say it. He said, I'm not attracted. He didn't say I don't find you attractive. He said, I am not attracted to you.
Yeah.
And then in the interview with her, she's like, I know I'm attractive.
Right.
Like,
Right.
what do you mean you're not attractive to me? Like, she's so
Yeah.
offended by that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you're choosing him for some reason.
Beauty's
There's
an eye of the
4
beholder,
other
you know what I mean?
guys
So it's
there
like-
that you could choose from, and you're not choosing them. Why? Because you're not attracted to them. None of them are unattractive either.
I
Like,
did think he was a little rude in his delivery. He could have definitely been much better.
Well, he was agitated too, right? Because she kept pushing
The
him,
second
kept pushing
time.
him. Yeah. So I mean,
The second
Yeah.
time he's agitated, but
So-
he had already done the damage the first go
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
with how aggressive he was with dismissing her right off the bat.
yeah, maybe. But at the same time, he's there. You know, I mean, you're there for a certain reason, right? If you don't find somebody attractive, you don't like something about them, then you're
I
gonna
would
waste
never-
the
I
time.
would never have
So-
gone that route if I was there.
oh,
like
really?
that.
How would you have done that?
Much better, much smoother.
Oh, you think you're smoother than that?
Yeah, sometimes you got to win the ugly chicks over. You know what I mean? To get to the
She's
other
not
one.
You hear that? You hear that? They were trying to shut me down talking about her a minute ago. Now he's calling her ugly. So yeah,
Well, she's the. I tell you
he's
who.
not
she's the least
I tell
attractive
you
of
who
them all.
my front runners were out the gate was Lauren and April.
No, same here. I'm right there with you.
Well, that,
Well,
that,
well, no. Well, I tell you,
hold on. That
Shanique
you
too,
would have
though. She's
chosen?
Yep, that's who I would have kept.
Yep.
I would have been like, gotta
Yeah.
talk to these two,
Yeah,
and
oh, yeah.
then
Yeah,
feel these
right,
two.
right
out.
off the bat, I said the same thing. But then I'm looking at Shanique and Ray, and I'm like, they're pretty damn hot too, you know. But Alexis, nah, I'd have been with Colby on that one. I was not attracted to
Yeah.
Alexis, you know.
Yeah.
Out of all the women there, I would have
Yeah.
been like Lauren and.
I gotta say,
or
as a
even Colby's
woman-
girl, even Colby's girl, I'd have been like, nah, I'm not attracted to her. What's her name?
Madeline.
Madeline. Yeah,
No.
I'm not. Wasn't really attracted to Madeline. I was like,
As a woman, I would have to say I'd have to agree with all of you. Or
Oh.
with both of you.
what
I
guys did you
just-
think? I thought Colby was like one of the more attractive guys.
Yeah, I
yeah,
thought
Cole
he
attracted
did
him,
have
yeah.
dreamy
Yeah.
eyes. I
mean,
agree.
I mean, Nathan.
And he was saying all the right things early on, and I was
Yeah.
like, "This dude, his girlfriend's a mess."
Oh, yeah.
And Hunter was kind of boring to me first. I was like, he's just kind of plain and boring. But then as
Hunter
like,
is born.
Yeah, he was,
yes,
he was born dude.
but
He was born dude.
when later on when he starts
to
April in that conversation, you could tell he became more attractive to her,
Mhm.
and he became more attractive to me in that
Yeah.
moment. Like he was very calm. He was there for her. I like that. That's an attractive quality.
Well, April thought
Physically,
that too because
yeah.
that
She
was
did.
like the only guy willing to talk to
Talked to her
her.
about it. Yeah.
Physically, I'd have to say it would be Colby or Randall. I would think, would have been my two.
Which is what most of those girls there thought too, as well. I
Which
guess.
I
So
think.
maybe
Well,
you're on the same page.
no,
you know?
nobody seemed to be going for Colby.
No. I mean, Nate. I didn't think. I thought Nate was a relatively
Nate was
attractive guy for the
okay.
group. You know, for,
Yeah,
you know,
Nate's
compared to
okay.
the
Well,
others.
there,
You know,
were,
but
there were some people going for Colby. Like Alexis was going hard
Hard
for
on
Colby,
Colby, yeah.
and then
Yeah.
Lauren and
Yeah.
Colby were definitely
Right.
making a
Oh, yeah, yeah.
connection.
Yeah, you're
Well,
you're
and
right.
Colby
April-
wasn't really going for everyone.
no, I mean, April
No.
originally liked Colby a lot too, and then she was like, you know, and then when she asked him the question, could you see us
Yeah.
together for the next 3 weeks?
She
and
was
he was
definitely
like, no.
probing that, and
And
he
he's like,
shut
nah.
her down. And I was like,
And
dang.
that
Yeah,
was
oh,
the
yeah.
only one I really didn't feel like he did anything wrong in the conversations with Alexis.
I didn't. Either.
I don't
didn't
think
either.
he even needed to baby it more for her. Sure, he
No.
was being honest and upfront, and
Well,
he
the problem
wasn't rude
is,
about
if he
it.
did baby
but,
it, she would have hung around even
Clearly.
longer.
Right. Exactly.
but
Exactly.
April, he said it very bluntly.
He said no.
And he said it in front of everybody else. And that was kind of like,
Yeah.
but
Now-
I don't know, but she put him on the spot.
Right.
Like, you know, he could have
Now-
sugarcoated that and then side conversation be like,
now,
look, I
Jake
didn't want to call
and
you
Ray
out.
seem like they come from like the
That's
same family or something
yeah,
like
they
that.
have, like,
They hit it off from the get-go.
Yeah.
And
They said they check each other's boxes. They had all the same stuff in
Yeah.
common. You know, they're both mixed race families. And they just had, you know, they're just, you know, you could tell right off the bat they were just comfortable with each other, man. They,
Right.
you
They
show them
look like
talking.
they belong together.
Yeah, I mean, they look super comfortable together. They're just laughing and joking and
April saw
talking and
that.
having fun. Yeah.
Oh yeah, April saw that when they were talking in the booth. She's like,
Oh, yeah.
"Hey guys, what's
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on?" and they're both like, because she
Awkward.
was across from him, and she's like, "Let me mosey on to the other side
Yeah.
of the
Uh-huh.
booth here to get close to him." And then April sits across, and I'm like,
Yep, exactly.
"What are you guys up to?"
Yeah.
What y'all doing?
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah.
got to be. It's such a weird dynamic. I can't imagine. Because
Well-
again, when you watch these shows, these dating shows, you know, if you're coming off of a relationship or you're single or you're dating multiple people that you've just met, but these are people who are invested in relationships with these people.
Yeah.
And as of 5 minutes ago, we're in a committed relationship with
Right,
this one
exactly.
person. And now
Yeah, so,
they're
I mean-
dating somebody else while watching that person date
Yeah,
somebody else.
so, I
But
mean-
the clock is ticking.
Yeah, the clock's ticking. One
Yeah,
thing, and the
5
thing is,
days, that's it.
And the thing is, you can totally understand how difficult it is, but at the
Yeah.
same time, you volunteered for it, you know. So
Yeah.
it's like you got to go with it, you know. And
Now-
kind of like what Colby says, you know, hey, we volunteered for this, you know. Then we got to go with it.
Now
Yeah.
Nate's getting close to a couple people. He's getting close to Shanique,
Neat.
talking to April.
Mm-hmm.
So he's trying to make some
Yeah,
moves.
he's getting a little handsy.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
and
he
they
and
were-
Shanique were like
Oh, yeah.
Very
holding hands
handsy.
practically and
Uh-huh.
stuff. So I was like, wow,
Yeah.
they seem pretty strong.
Yeah,
at
they
this
had
point.
great conversations. You know, they seem very strong with each other, and then him and April did too. So you're thinking right, you're like, okay, Nate, you know, Nate's definitely going to get Shanique or April, but then you saw Shanique was having a good conversations with Zay too,
Yeah.
and then then she's up in the air. Okay, do I want Zay or do I want Nate? And I think at the end of the day, she'd have probably been better off going with Nate, but you know,
Who knows?
yeah,
Who knows?
It was all crazy, man. It was all crazy, but
Yeah, the whole thing is crazy.
oh, it was nuts.
It's crazy. You gotta watch
I mean, we
the
never
show.
got to see the other side of Nate, so
Yeah.
we just got
So-
to see the playa side.
Yeah,
apparently.
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
we saw, so we saw him getting close to those two.
He did not seem like a guy who was ready to
Yeah.
settle down and have
You know,
a family.
April. We saw, she was digging she was digging her some Colby a little bit, and then she was digging her some Hunter. And then we saw.
Well, she was
and
only
digging some
digging
Nate
Hunter when
at the end. Yeah,
when Colby just crapped on her and
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
else, and she was getting desperate, I think. And
Yeah,
then
exactly.
here comes Hunter, like, hey, I'll be the savior guy,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
hey, you okay? How you
That's right.
feeling? You could
Yeah.
always talk to me.
Yeah,
And
Robin
I
did
thought it was
too.
pretty cheesy, but
Mhm.
hey,
but
rebound
worked
guy. You know what
because
I
he
mean?
got
He's
her,
doing
and
the
that's what
rebound
made-
plan.
what
Mhm.
made him appear attractive to me.
And then you
so.
had then we had because we're getting ready. I think we're getting ready to go into the guest or the choice here soon. So then we had Ray and Jake, who were very close together, and really that's the only two they connected with is each other pretty
Yeah.
much right the whole time. Colby was connecting to a
See,
couple
Jake's
different
playing
girls.
it kind of smart because, like, who have you chosen anyone or whatever? And
Mhm.
he's like, he doesn't really reveal that too much, so
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
kind of playing it safe a little bit.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, he had a good game, I think. And then of course Colby kind of made his decision. Okay, I like Lauren. I'm pretty much strictly gonna talk to her. And then Lauren kind of felt he got the same vibe from him. So really, they're chatting with each other, not really
Yeah.
talking to anybody else after that. And then of course Nate with Shanique and freaking who was the other one? Shanique and
Zay.
April for Nate.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, for Nate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Zay was a toss up between. Well, it really was just Shanique for Zay. Right?
You know what I
Right.
find
So-
interesting is like people they seem to like zero in on someone. Like they talk to someone
Mhm.
and it seems like within the first 5 minutes they know if they're like compatible or not.
Right.
And then if they are, they kind of like flesh
Just-
that out. But
Mhm.
otherwise it's kind of like the Colby and Alexis thing where like I'm not into you. So
Right.
Exactly.
and then you just find the person annoying and there's really no recovering.
Right.
from
Well,
it.
Right.
and then I thought what was bad about that. As soon as that went down, Alexis went to Madeline and was like, "Oh, your man, you
Yeah,
you deserve
that was
better.
pretty messed
Yeah.
up.
Your man's
Well,
an asshole, and you deserve better." And then she's telling everybody there that it's like,
Yeah.
no, it's like, you're
Like-
just so vain and you can't take a hint. You get mad when somebody doesn't like you. So it's like,
And I was
you know.
very like I felt bad for Colby in
Oh,
that
yeah,
in
that was
that
bad.
moment because
He
I
just
was
answered the question.
yeah,
Like,
you asked for the truth.
I
and he gave it
don't
to
think
you.
he did anything wrong. I think he
No.
could have handled the April situation a little bit better by like maybe pulling her aside, like kind of
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like glossing over his answer in because she did ask him publicly, but he
Mhm.
could have made that a little more presentable.
Yeah.
But other than that, he's just straightforward. He's there to go through this experience, and basically, he doesn't even really care to go through the experience himself. He's just there to allow his
Girl to
girlfriend,
go
his
through it,
girlfriend, to go through it.
Well-
And so he's not going to like waste his time doing something that he's not going to, get anything from. But they're all trash talking him, like big time trash talking him. And I just don't see it. I see it a little bit later on, but like I didn't see it
Madeline loves trash talking him herself.
Oh,
like,
yes,
she really does.
Every chance she gets, she's like, screw that guy.
Yeah, no, that poor guy, man. And
or whenever he talks, she's like doing weird faces, like rolling her eyes.
And she's just like flaunting her freaking attraction to Randall in front of him. Like, I'm digging Randall here, and she's loud about it. And when the girls had their separate meeting, she was loud about it. And of course, Shanique's getting upset about that. And I mean, she has no filter, man. That girl has no filter. Doesn't care whose feelings she's hurting.
No,
it's all about herself.
She's
here.
also the drunk one.
And she.
They all drink.
You put some alcohol in that chick, and who knows what you're
Every
gonna
time she was having a single conversation with a camera, she was trashed. Every single time.
Absolutely.
Every single time.
I agree. Like, she can't keep her eyes open.
That shit was trashed. Oh, yeah.
So let's get to the choices. And this was kind of like...
I did not like the way they did it, man.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they would like put names in a box or do something dramatic where they're just at a table and they're going around like, hey, who you choose?
Yeah. And this would have, I kind of liked it because it's like, oh, you're putting this out there. Like, you're putting it out. However, it would have changed how things played out had they done it anonymously or secretly.
It would have changed the most with Nate.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. It would have showed what kind of douche he really is if they'd have played it out a different way. Because that dude, like we said, was all about April, was all about Shanique, and he was talking about them like, yep, I'm definitely going to get this girl, definitely going to get that girl. And then when you find out that they didn't choose him, he's like, oh, what the hell?
But before we get to that, like, going into it, we kind of all had an idea of who was going to pick who and who was going to kind of end up together. I didn't know how it was going to play out for Alexis because nobody was interested in her.
Yeah, and I was wondering, how does that look when no one chooses you? And they didn't explain the rules very well, I don't think. Because, like, could you choose your old partner and then in the show? I guess you have to propose.
You have to propose to choose
them.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
But what happens if no one chooses you? And is that the reason why they did it the way they did it without putting names in a box or something like that?
Yeah,
to make it flexible.
Well, we kind of see how that plays out with Colby and April, right? So,
right.
But, I mean,
yeah. So I wonder if they did it intentionally for moments like that.
Maybe, but at the same time, I think they should have each had to write down the name of the person they chose, and then they pick. And then if you didn't match up with that person, well, then you do round two.
I
and
really
say,
think you should have had like a top three, and then you go down the list.
Like that. Yeah, exactly.
You could put one person, you put three people.
Yeah, because you put three, you'd be like, okay, well, you didn't match up with your number one, but hey, your number two has your name on his list too. So what about this? Exactly.
Yeah, they probably should have said, Shanique, who's your number one? And then like that person comes on the board. Then they go to that person, and then they see if it's a match or something like that.
Yeah. The way they did it, I wasn't cool with. I thought it was kind of stupid, but.
It did cause a lot of drama.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
So Shanique goes first, and she chooses Zay. And then,
I was surprised at that.
And
I thought
you're thinking maybe she was going to choose Nate, but she doesn't.
I thought she was going to go Nate. And Nate seemed to, he was like, oh.
He was pissed. He was like, what the hell? When he went on one camera, he's like, how did she choose this guy over me? He was floored.
And then Zay chooses her back, so they're linked up.
So boom, one couple down.
Easy peasy. Oh, this is going to go great.
Then Jake, and he chooses Ray.
Yep, and
then
easy.
Obviously Ray chooses him, so there goes another couple down.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and then, we got Madeline picks Randall, and then Randall picks her.
Yeah, that was quick.
And then Nate, or after this too, like, Nate is like telling Madeline, like, I'm about to choose you because Shanique just got out. So he's kind of going down his list and like trying to figure out. Yeah.
It shows him, he mouths to her.
He's like, I'm going to choose you. But, which I don't know why he would say that because she's already chosen Randall and Randall's chosen her.
And they never really showed them connect too strongly.
No,
so I didn't understand that.
And not one time did she ever mention, oh yeah, I like Nate. Like the whole time she was just Randall.
I was surprised he wouldn't go for April in that moment once his first choice was gone. Yeah. But then,
I think also April went before him, and April chose Hunter.
Yep.
And now he's like, that's my number two gone now.
Yep, but then
that's what
But then Hunter decides, nope, you know what, man? Even though Hunter was digging April, right? He kind of drops the bomb saying, you know what?
Alexis got angry and had like a meltdown at that point.
Right.
Because she's like, I'm going to go fighting for my man right now. Yeah. And then she tells this huge story, and I guess that clicks with Hunter somehow.
Hold on. Before she tells us, she starts crapping on, what's his name?
Colby.
And like that whole thing like plays out, and she's like getting everybody at the table all like Colby's like.
But then April's like, hey, I think I don't think Colby did anything wrong here, and April's kind of
Lauren comes in
And
and
Lauren
says,
did. Yeah,
Yeah.
Lauren did. Lauren
and
did.
I was like, that's pretty cool. Or she's like,
Uh-huh.
I've never had a bad conversation or
Well,
experience
totally.
with him, and
Yeah.
he doesn't seem like the guy
That's
you're
that
trying to
Mhm.
say he is.
But Alexis in this moment's kind of like going like, I didn't really, find anybody, and she's kind of upset. You can tell she's upset
She's
that
in desperation mode. Is what she is.
this whole thing sucked. These people suck. Like,
yeah.
you didn't give me any good options.
There's nothing wrong with me, but all these
Yeah.
people are retarded, basically. Yeah.
And so when the whole and then April mentions, Hunter.
Well-
So then they ask Hunter, like, who do you want
Hold
to
on,
choose?
okay, that's right, yeah. And then he says,
because she has already given her speech at that point. So
Mhm.
he's like, you could tell that he was kind of feeling for her. Again, 5 minutes ago,
Yeah.
these people were in a relationship.
I mean,
That's
Alexis
his
does
woman.
her thing, and they're like, well, okay, well, Hunter, anyways, who are you choosing?
Yeah, and so he's like,
and he drops
And
the
now at this
bomb.
point, Alexis looks crazy desperate, and like she's not going to end up with anyone.
Yeah.
But Hunter comes and
To the
bails her
rescue.
out.
Bails his
Yeah.
woman out, man.
He's
And,
like, I'm
Kind
ready.
of craps on April at the time because April chose him. So,
right. And he had told her he wanted to choose her that night before, so you're thinking, oh, okay, so.
and quite honestly, I thought this was like a long shot. It was just like April had no one else to go to, so she
Right.
was choosing Hunter. So,
yeah,
and maybe
but-
Hunter realized that like I'm not going to end up with
Yeah.
April, so I need to go with the person I
but,
can.
but at the same time, April said the right reasons of why she chooses Hunter,
Right.
at least, so she
yeah.
wrote,
I think she was on the right path.
right.
But then Hunter just, he saves Alexis. So
Mhm.
it's like, okay, well, now, she doesn't have to find somebody
Right,
because,
right.
like, no one was going to pick her.
And now April's kind of high and dry and then now Nate's pissed because, now this is the second girl that did not choose him. And he's like, what the hell's going on?
But he could have
You know?
still chosen April
Uh-huh.
because she did
He
not.
could have, but
he could have chosen April, but then
But it didn't even let it get to that point because
No.
then they're like, okay, Colby,
Yeah,
what do you
Colby,
think?
and he chooses Lauren.
And now, and they have had a great conversations, great relationship this whole time, and Nate knows it,
and this
so,
is where like Alexis attacks Colby because she's
That's
like, "Can I
where
just
they-
say one thing?"
Yeah.
And then
Uh-huh.
she kind of goes off on Colby, and that's where Lauren jumps in and
That's-
actually
Mhm.
bails him
yeah,
out.
Lauren's like, I didn't have that experience because like everybody's kind of saying that about him, and again, even Madeline, who's been with him for years, has said, "Yeah, you're right. See, they're all saying it."
And
then
As
Lauren's
all
like,
this
no.
is going on, old Nate comes up with his like
He's
His
like,
nonsense.
stack of desperation.
Well, what the funny is, but the thing is, I mean, with Nate, he just wanted to win. That's all this was for him, was winning. Because, I mean, it flipped to the camera before he did his act of desperation. He was like, man, there's no way I'm letting Lauren spend 3 weeks with freaking Mr. Suave Colby here. Not gonna,
That's true. Yeah,
not
that's
gonna
true.
happen. Never gonna
Yeah.
happen,
He's like,
But
no.
he's the one who
Right.
initiated this whole thing
Oh, yeah,
too.
exactly,
So,
exactly.
and like nothing was
Uh-huh.
learned from it, which
No.
comes up after that, like
Yeah.
because April like brings all this to light.
Yep. So they're,
April,
they're,
this upsets
April
April.
goes off.
Well,
She's
but
like
hold
that
on.
fake ass.
Well, but before it
Why?
happens-
Oh my God, there's
well,
so much.
So before it happens, so Colby chooses Lauren. So they're getting ready to go to Lauren to get her choice, and that's when freaking Nate jumps up.
Wait.
Like, hold on a minute. I don't want to. He's like, I don't want to step on the toes of homeboy who just proposed, but I want to do something now. And then he proposes. And you're just like,
and
I don't.
she
And now
says,
it's oh, I don't care about kids. I just want you. Even though the reason he brought you to the show is because of kids,
Right.
And it's like,
Yeah, and I
And
could
she
see
says
him doing
absolutely.
this. But
She says
Lauren, I was like,
absolutely.
no way is going to say yes to
Oh,
this.
yeah,
And
could
of
not
course, she
believe
it.
goes the
Cannot believe it.
complete opposite.
oh, dude, I
and
could not believe it either.
only
She
thing I
didn't
could think
hesitate at all.
was she wanted to get off the show for some reason or something.
That's-
Like, get me
yeah.
out of here.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
crazy.
and then April just loses her shit. She's just like, did you guys not learn anything from this?
Yeah,
It's like
but
nothing
she
has
brought
It's
it-
changed.
easy for April to say this in the situation she's in because now she's forced to go on this experiment.
Yeah, but at the same time, everything she said was correct.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
except
it
for
was
the fact I'm
absolutely right.
doing this to do this for the. I'm like, no, you're
Well,
desperate right
Alexis
now,
says the
and you're
same
feeling
thing.
a little.
Right.
Alexis likes to point out this. They're all pointing out the same thing. Even
Yeah.
Madeline, she's like, what was that
Well,
about? Like,
well-
you still don't want kids, and you want kids, and now all of a sudden you
like
don't care.
Nothing
if you
in
don't
your
want
relationship
kids?
has been solved. As they're all saying, nothing in your
Right.
relationship has been solved. So the whole this
we're
whole
in
3
the-
weeks.
See, and here's the thing: if they would have asked Nate, "Who do you choose first?" This whole thing would have
thing
went completely different because he wouldn't have
Exactly.
chose
He would've
Lauren, he wouldn't
chose
have
Shanique.
proposed, he would have chose Shanique.
Exactly.
And then I guess if they would have went to Shanique, maybe she would have changed her mind because someone picked her
Picked
at
her.
that point.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll never know, but
Right.
she might have said yes to that. But if
Yeah.
she says no, that leaves him really in an awkward position.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. And then at that point, he had no choice. Well, or who knows? Maybe once Colby picked Lauren, maybe he still would have jumped up and be like, you know what? Never mind. I just want
I
my girl.
doubt it because
You
then
know?
it's obvious like what's
Right,
going on.
Right.
But then what's funny is
It was pretty obvious anyway.
Yeah.
The only person who didn't see it was Lauren.
Well, Madeline
That's the
calls
only
it
one that
out
matters,
too.
I guess.
Right.
She said, 5 minutes ago, you mouthed to me that you were going to pick me.
Yep.
And now you're proposing.
And that's after
Like,
April calls this like a fake
Calls it
ass
BS.
for
Yeah.
some
Yep. Oh yeah.
engagement or
Right.
It was crazy, man. That whole freaking episode, I was like, man, this is nuts,
Proposal.
dude. These people are
It was
freaking nuts.
crazy. So then April's having her meltdown about like how nobody's taking this experiment seriously, and and she realizes at this point in time it's kind of like her and Colby, like or bust. Like she has to be paired up with him. That's the only one left.
Colby
and vice
said
versa.
it.
Colby's the
Colby
one
said
who
it.
came up
Colby's
with
like, look,
Yeah.
April, you and I actually
Yeah.
had pretty good conversations. We had, good conversation back and forth, kind of had a good relationship. Why don't we give it a try?
And
And
she's,
she's
like,
like,
yeah,
okay,
I'll go
fine.
through this with you. She's
Yeah.
like,
and I love that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
And I was really rooting for these
Yep,
two.
so was I.
after
Yeah.
that.
Yep,
I
so
was
was
like, these two are going to come out stronger than anyone.
That was
They
a,
weren't even the ones that
that was a
chose.
great moment, because he's right. I mean, all their conversations, they seem like they got along great when they showed him on camera and stuff talking. Obviously he had some reason why he didn't want to live
Colby
with
is
us for
just,
weeks,
if
but
it ain't clicking on all levels, then he
Yeah.
kind of like,
he's like, nah, yeah, exactly. But with April, I guess it clicked on enough levels. He's like, hey, let's just give this a shot, April. And she was like, all
Well,
right,
I said
Colby, why not?
I'm with Colby. I would have
Yeah.
probably chosen Lauren in April, so
Same
I
here.
get it.
No, same here. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I get it too. But as soon as that happened, I was like, this is what the show's about. I was like, all right. I mean, I was rooting for them right then. So,
But they kind of like abruptly end that at that point, like because April gets upset and she just kind of walks out, and it's like, okay, so we're done. Okay,
Yeah,
we're paired. Okay,
show's
fine.
over.
And they all just get up
Yeah.
and walk away, and we're like, what just? So can we recap who's with who?
yeah. So speaking of which, let's do that.
But like
Final
Jake
recap.
and Ray seem extremely strong at
strong.
this
Yeah.
point as well.
Like as strong as they seem, I'm thinking, okay, these two are totally going to hook up. See you later to their other partners,
Yeah.
and that's going to be that. And at this point in the conversation, we're
I
in
felt
the
that way
stage.
at their first
Oh, yeah.
date,
Oh, yeah.
and it just keeps getting more
Exactly.
relevant.
So we got Jake and Ray together, right? We got Shanique and Zay
Zay.
together,
Mhm.
all right? We got Colby and April, and then we got who's the other two? Oh, Madeline and
Randall.
Randall, yeah.
Mhm.
So that's our 4 couples. The other 2 couples proposed for one reason or another.
And they live happily ever
the Hunter
after.
and April
Right.
one was legitimate,
Yeah.
and that one
Yeah,
I
dude,
think was fine.
I tell you, I'm looking forward to the reunion episode that comes out on 13 because I want to see if Nate and freaking Lauren are still together because I'm pretty sure they're probably not. So
Who
She's
knows?
new-
Who knows?
Breaking news: she's pregnant. I'm just kidding. I don't know. That'd be a
But
plot
yeah,
twist.
that'll be good. But yeah, man, I'm definitely looking forward to getting into the next discussion. Whenever the whole first 3 weeks and see how that goes.
Yeah, this show, like I said, was better than I thought it would be. So,
Yeah.
and if you're into drama from like Love Is Blind, this
Oh,
show
yeah.
brings a lot of
Dude,
that.
This show way more drama than Love Is Blind. These people are nuts. man.
Bachelor, all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff, like
This stuff's
dating show
crazy.
drama, reality show drama. This
This-
is all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, but all right, so next up, guys, we're gonna have 2 more discussions. We're gonna have one about the first 3 weeks, right? Living with the new couples. And then we're gonna have another episode of 3 weeks back to original couples. So please let us know what you thought about this episode. We'd love to hear from you, chat from you, and kind of get your thoughts before these next couple weeks happen. And just getting some good conversation with you guys. And hey, until next time, we will check you at the next show.
See you guys.
See ya.